Good morning, friends. Greetings from Kimpro. On behalf of Kimpro Foundation, I am Anshuman Tiwari, welcoming you to yet another show. This is episode 6 of our series of the Qualitist Show. In this series, as many of you who are regulars will know, and for the new ones, I will quickly give a recap. We speak to distinguished qualitists who have, uh, you know, who are shining lights and role models in the field of quality and have earned the right to be called distinguished qualities. So, qualities, as you may know, is a term coined by Dr. James Duran, and in India for the last over 2 decades, Mr. Suresh Lulla has been embodying and evangelizing this term. Uh, very very brief, the term is more like a name for the profession. So you and I, many people on this call, are quality professionals, but the profession doesn't have a name or didn't have a name till Dr. Duran thought of this. And ever since we've been trying as a group of interested people in India and quite a few across the world as well to give this name some more popularity and meaning. So thank you all of you who have joined today. And of course, this show, as many of you know, will be recorded and will be available on all the three channels which are available today. So this show is live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube today, right? And the recording will be available on all these platforms later on as well. And of course, if you want to further hear a audio version, a podcast version will also be available. So that was a quick, reminder or overview of the show. We'll very quickly jump into the show, but before that, a request that if you are interested in the word qualitist a little bit more and want to learn more, of course, we'll during the show share more details. But please check out kimpro.org, qimpro.org. During the show, I will definitely share the and I am sharing it on the screen for you. Please check out for details. If you are in the quality profession and want to earn the right to be called a qualitist, this is the place to go. All details are available there. And with that, we'll get into the show for the day today. And it is my privilege and honor to invite Mr. Suresh Lula, who is for many uh, the Juran of India, and having been trained directly by Dr. Juran himself, he will open the show today and share some opening comments and invite the guest for today. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Anshuman. Thank you very much for this warm introduction. Uh, Merry Christmas to all of you. And it shows your commitment to quality that on Christmas Day you have logged in. Thank you for that. By sheer coincidence, yesterday was Dr. J.M. Joran's birthday. He was born in 1904, and this was his what number, Anshuman? What number would it be? How old would he have been today?
117, had he been alive.
Yeah. Dr. Duran actually led a very difficult life. For some of you, he, wa- he was an immigrant into the USA as a child. And he started his life as a shoeshine boy. But he had that ambition that he will get a college qualification, and he worked accordingly. He sold newspapers, he polished shoes, and look where he took the profession over the years. His constant reminder to us, we were 12 reps in the world. I was from India and another from Singapore. We were the only two from Asia. He would remind us that people make quality and treat your people with dignity. He knew what it meant as a shoeshine boy to be treated with dignity. Moving forward, he taught us that we are organized in vertical silos, and these silos have names, from purchasing to operations to marketing, accounting, so on. And we live our lives in silos. We join at the bottom and we rise to the top. But he said, who defines quality? Customer. Where's the customer in these silos? Customers outside the organization receiving output of work that crosses the silos, cross functional processes. Nobody owns them. You own functions, but you don't own the processes. And this leads to a lot of customers' dissatisfaction, customer rebellion, so on. The mantra was customer defines quality. Customer is the final inspector. Customer pays your salary. Now, this is applicable in business. What happens when it's in healthcare? Human life is at stake. Do you understand your customer, your patient? Look at education. A child can stay with you for 10 years in a school, and as a child progresses, the needs change. Are you in touch with the child, customer? Another concept. He visualized a very simple organization. He said we complicate it with accommodating so many vice presidents, presidents, CEOs, etc. The perfect organization or the ideal organization would have a CEO and only two people reporting to him. One, the head of finance, the other, the head of quality. Quality would bring you revenues. Head of finance would control your costs. And your report card would therefore be addressed. Operations should report into quality. Human resources should report into quality. He saw the stature of the profession so high. Qualitist is the name he gave it. And he said, every organization must have a qualitist on its board. Without a qualitist in the board, you're lucky if customers are happy. You're unlucky if they're unhappy. So, we have today Dr. Sumanshri. Dr. Sumanshri probably fits into this model of CEO, finance, and quality. She's one of the few CEOs I've met who has been so passionate about quality, particularly quality improvement. And she sees the power of quality improvement and its byproduct, cost of poor quality reduction. So, with these words, I welcome Dr. Suman Shri to share her wisdom with us.
Suprabhatam.
Namaste, doctor.
I bring warm Yuletide tidings from the Netradama family to all of you.
Thank you very much, doctor. Like Mr. Lulla said, any opening comments from you before we get into the show and some questions that we have ready for you?
Surely. In fact, just as Suresh Lulaji introduced me and he says, only two people report to a CEO. It felt so true, and that is what is happening to me every day. The chief of finance and the chief of HR, who also happens to coordinate the quality work of the organization. These are the only two people who meet me constantly. And I said, wow, this is actually what's happening in our organization. It felt so good.
No,
So,
I'm very happy that that is the model that Dr. Duran started has started taking roots. Good things take time, but they do happen.
in my
So
humble opinion, I feel like this is a qualitist show basically to showcase what a qualitist is all about. In the medical profession, I feel who is a qualitist? How would they be qualified as a qualitist? I feel absolute quality consciousness, like Krishna consciousness. I feel that kind of consciousness integrated into all we do throughout the day in our actions, in our communications, in our ethical practice, modeling what I teach in Ashtanga Yoga. Like they say, Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. Kaya is actions, Vacha is speech, Manasa is thought. This is how I feel a qualitist should practice his quality work. And there are certain dimensions to this. The most important being responsiveness to situations, assurance, empathy, total empathy in the work that we do, compassion, and of course, the bottom line being competence. All of us have to be competent in our jurisdictional domains. Customer satisfaction, and I feel being a CEO, a very participative management. It's very critical to growth. Bringing about cultural transformation, and definitely, like Sir said, continual improvement. In fact, he has always emphasized the Durand trilogy whenever I have met him. Quality planning, quality control, and finally, quality improvement, which I interpret as a holy trinity, like Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar.
So, yeah, those who are on the call already and those who will listen to this later on, we have pretty much a polymath in the in our on our show today. If you haven't noticed, she's of course a doctor, well qualified, and CEO, yoga teacher, uh, very qualified one. I will go through that now, and quality professional. I have not seen people talk about quality trilogy in the quality profession itself. So it does. So my salutes to you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Before we get into the questions, I will quickly just give a small introduction to you so that everybody on the call is also aware. So Dr. Suman Shri, of course, is CEO and Director and HOD of Anesthesiology at the Netradham Super Speciality Eye Hospital in Bangalore. And you may have already guessed that there are of course multiple medical qualifications. I will not go through all of them. The special ones for me were the yoga ones, which is in addition to all the multiple medical qualifications, and and specialization, of course, in eye care and the likes. The quality certifications or the credentials, which are more critical for this conversation, uh, and this is just to share with you that what it takes to be a quality professional and a distinguished qualitist. You are not just good at one thing. You are really great at many things, and that is where many of you who are in the stream today, the live stream, and will join it later, should aspire to be. Right? These are the role models that we bring to you, so that we all, you and I included, we should be aspiring to be where they are. So she's of course a certified assessor, IMC RBNQA assessor, an ISO 9000 auditor, and AHA certified provider, BCLS instructor, CCLS instructor, Green Belt in Lean Six Sigma. Many of us in this live stream today stop our quality journey at Lean Six Sigma at Green Belt. This is probably where Dr. Suman's journey started. Kaizen 5S certification, FMEA, visual management, Tokai Yoke. This is all of quality that we know. And of course, you already heard her talk about Ashtanga yoga classes and related therapy programs. So that's a very brief introduction. Some awards that are already quality related, and not the medical ones are far too many for me to share. The IMC RBNQA Certificate of Merit, Best Practices Trophy from Making Quality Happen, Best and Safest Hospital in India by Q Health for You, initiative of QCI, Best Hospital to Work for, DL Shah Award, one of the highest awards in the quality field in India, the Qualtech Award, which is of course managed by Kimpro, first runner-up in 2019, and multiple related awards, leading to the Qualitist badge level 3, which is the highest level in this the Qualitist series. So with that, Dr. Suman, we welcome you to the show once again. I can already see questions coming in. So, but couple of questions in from Dr. Parag as well. Dr. Parag Dindani was first in the series, so he has almost bona fide rights to asking the first question. Right, but we'll get to the questions later. First, a few questions that we had already spoken to a few of our regular audience and come up with these questions. So this is a question we always ask our qualities, and no surprise, it is coming for you as well. First, you are of course today a distinguished qualitist with a glittering career, in quality medicine and so on. But this is not where you started. This was not the start of the journey. So we would like to learn a little bit more about your early career and how you got into quality and managed to merge the two fields so beautifully.
Well, after becoming a medical doctor, I went into MD anesthesiology at the pristine Command Hospital, Air Force, Bangalore in 1992. I was very fortunate to get into the armed forces for my training. What it taught me, the value of timeliness, being on time every time, and being extremely disciplined and meticulous in the delivery of anesthesia. So this is my foundation where it was almost commando style. I was taught the importance of time, to value time. It's the most important thing in our lives because it doesn't come again. Later on, I had the fortune to do my super specialization in neuroanesthesiology at NIMHANS, Bangalore. After which, I joined as consultant anesthesiologist when we started Netradama in 1994. In 1998, I became the associate medical director. I was one of the founder members along with Dr. Sri Ganesh, who is the chairman and managing director. And then we became a privately limited company in 2004 as we expanded our practice. I became the CEO and director. But what stayed with me is what is the motto of an anesthesiologist. We believe in eternal vigilance and watchful expectancy. That is what symbolizes an anesthesiologist. Because being forewarned is being forearmed. We are ever ready for any eventuality. And this is what anesthesia taught me. And in 2005, the quality journey started. We got into our ISO 9001 certification. Then I became an NABH assessor, started quality audits in hospitals. 2008, I ensured that Netradama became the first eye hospital in India to get NABH accreditation. With success expansion, I joined the bandwagon of getting my post-graduation in hospital and healthcare management and medical legal systems from Symbiosis Pune. It became a necessity at that stage. Later on, In 2010 was the turning point for me. I had the good fortune of being trained by none other else than Sri Suresh Lula himself under Quimpro, Green Belt Lean Six Sigma in healthcare. There was a national demonstration project, which was a collaboration between Quality Council of India and Quimpro. So that is how I got introduced to my quality guru. And it was serendipity, in fact, for me. And he has been a true inspiration. And I can say the rest is history now. It's almost a decade. And in fact, I was telling him, I feel his presence constantly with me.
So, Dr. Suman, the last part that you shared, of course, all of us share the same bond. So, in that sense, we are all pupils and of Mr. Lulla. But and I think I muted him actually now right now. So otherwise he will scold us on steering this conversation this way. So I will deal with that later. But thank you very much for this introduction, because the reason I ask this question always to our guests, and usually my friend and colleague Balaji is with me, but we ask this question always is because we want to emphasize that what you see people as role models today, they were not born this way. There is a lot of work that has gone through. There is a journey, and in true quality parlance, there's a process that has been followed, right? It may not be a very defined process, and the process may not be same for you and me, but there is certainly a journey. And we always keep emphasizing to younger professionals that if you want to get to that summit, this is the trek that you have to take. You don't land at the summit. So thank you for emphasizing that. And as we get a little deeper into the questions, the first question that came during our brainstorming, that we were discussing what to come up, was of course that you run a famous eye hospital, right? And we all know that quality and healthcare, and particularly of course eye care, because we have only two eyes, so extra care is required, in things. So many things can go wrong, but eye care, quality healthcare, all these things are deeply connected. So can you share some examples to illustrate how quality and healthcare, particularly eye related healthcare, are connected?
See, during our national demonstration project, as I told you, we were very fortunate as being a team of clinical professionals to get exposed to the Lean Six Sigma methodology. And Quimpro was the team which introduced us to that. In fact, Mr. Subramaniam was our black belt expert who was hand-holding us throughout our project. In fact, it was the only clinical Lean Six Sigma project, and that was unique about this project. To improve the post-operative visual outcome following cataract surgery, we took it up in a very serious way. And this was the area which evolved. In fact, it is still evolving. We have not stopped doing Lean Six Sigma. Now it's 11 years into Lean Six Sigma. It didn't end as a project. It has become a key performance indicator for the organization as of today. In fact, it received the Best Lean Six Sigma NDP project, the QCI DLSHA Award, the Qualtech Award for Breakthrough Process Innovation, also the MQH Best Trophy Award during our IMC RBNK Certificate of Merit, when we went through the evaluation of our organization. What I want to highlight here is, basically, we came to the conclusion that the intraocular lenses that we implant, the quality is very critical to the outcomes. So even today, we evaluate the visual outcomes following the intraocular lens implantation, especially the new IOLs, to ensure maximum patient satisfaction. This innovative practice led to an invention. We have a great innovator, Dr. Sri Ganesh, amidst us. He invented a new intraocular lens based on the Lean Six Sigma project. It has swivel haptics, which maintains the effective position of the lens in the intraocular lens bag. So this, in fact, we have a patent for this lens. So innovation has led to invention in our organization. It was a breakthrough invention, in fact. Now, another practice I would like to tell you is, we introduced various green initiatives. The most important being electronic medical records very early in the practice in Netradama. So electronic medical records, almost a paperless office. It was the number one green initiative of Netradama. You can just walk into Netradama without a patient file. And across our 8 hospitals, your records are available online. So this was the greatest green initiative we had. Apart from that, 4 R's: refuse, reuse, recycle, and reduce. We implemented in spirit in every area of the organization. Then we have iConnect for internal communication, no papers around the hospital. Then we have conservation of power, we have rainwater harvesting, etc. So these 2 practices somehow I feel have made a huge difference in our practice.
No, that's truly wonderful, because and again, the summary that I draw as a quality professional, doctor, from this is that the principles of quality remain the same, and the playgrounds change. So in your case, the same principles of 5S, workflow, quality improvement, you've incorporated from a normal field of quality professionals, which is either services or manufacturing or other areas, into healthcare, and with even more benefits, because this is of course about people's lives and related illnesses. So the impact is even more. I think Mr. Lula has a comment. Sir, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Suman, you've forgotten to state a very important thing, which I identify you and your hospital with. Most quality improvement in healthcare projects are non-clinical. Your hospital was the first to dare to do a clinical project. Is that right?
Very true, sir. Very true.
And that's what stands out in my memory. There are hospitals and hospitals, they do a lot of, important but non-clinical processes and save abundance of cost of poor quality. But you took a customer focus, a clinical project, and that's what makes the difference. Thank you.
Yes, sir. In fact, Make in India is something which is very popular right now. 10 years ago, we took that initiative. We have so many instruments, new innovative instruments, and we've invented various intraocular lenses, all Make in India, part of the Make in India project.
No, thanks, sir, and Dr. Suman. Thank you for bringing that in, because this is an extremely important theme for us as well. That the qualitist entire program is not complete without getting deep into the domain areas as well. So the services improvement, yes, of course, important, but they can only take you that far. So the comments are made about clinical interventions. That is, I think, exemplary. So I had actually had a question, and partly you have answered, but I'll still ask that. The multiple quality practices, some of which you shared around, digitization and workflow and Lean Six Sigma. Any other examples in terms of using quality practices? So for a layman, for example, if I've had reason to visit eye hospitals, but from my point of view, what I see and what I notice as the core of this is the 5S. So 5S and Kaizen. In my view, I would think that okay, if a hospital can do this, I am very happy. But you seem to have taken the game many levels up. So any examples or anything from what you have experienced, so that our audience can learn from this?
Yeah, in our quality objectives, we have 6 key concepts that we ensure is practiced in every area of service that we provide. These 6 words, which are the core values of Netradama. See, our core values are teamwork, respect, integrity, and compassion. We call the trick of our practice. In short, it's an acronym that we follow. But coming to the quality, from this core values originates our quality objective keywords. We want all care at Netradama prompt, accurate, professional, with a human touch, to the complete satisfaction of our patients. When we say satisfaction, we mean cost effectiveness, with complete information about the care that they're going to be given throughout the process till they are discharged. And with advent of 9001 2015, we added the keyword safe, where we introduced risk management systems into our practice. So I would like to say a little bit about each keyword. When I mean prompt, when you enter Netradama, we are always monitoring the turnaround time. In fact, with Suresh Lulasa, we did the waiting time for optometry, or what is known as initial assessment in ophthalmology. We brought it down to 25 minutes. We used to give a time of 30 minutes plus or minus 5 minutes for our initial assessment, and total consultation should be over in an hour. If dilatation is there, in 90 minutes. So we brought it under control. Under Lean Six Sigma, the waiting time reduced. We were able to achieve 97% of our patients are seen within 30 minutes of arrival. This was our first Lean Six Sigma project. So promptness of service. Next, we took up accuracy of service, for which it was our clinical project, for which we got up for our intraocular lens invention. Then we went to professionalism. See, everything should be measurable. There has to be an objective way of measuring every key quality objective of the organization. So we wondered, how shall we measure professionalism? We took up a project known as a resident-friendly emergency eye care. We have a 24 hours eye care emergency in Netradama. I'm very proud to say that no other hospital in Netradama provides 24-hour eye care with a resident available within the premises. Our anesthesiologist is available 24 hours to do trauma surgeries. So this is how we introduced a tool known as root cause analysis. And voice of customer was every resident, every fellow, and every senior resident of Netradama. So we considered their opinion and made it a very powerful tool to provide emergency eye care in Netradama. So that was a professional approach. We also had one more, like you said, a 5S Kaizen project. It had huge dividends. We have implemented it for 2 years. In fact, we got the DL Shah Silver Award in 2019. And I was conferred the DL Shah Champion Gold Award for 2018 when we implemented 5S Kaizen. There, it was not just Kaizen. We landed up with an innovative practice known as the Eye Tracker for following up the outstanding from insurance patients who are undergoing cashless service. Basically, it was making cashless a seamless affair. And that was the topic, which I must confess here, Suresh Lulasa has quality fables. And so my quality fable title, after reading all his quality fables, was this. This is what I contributed, making cashless a seamless affair. So that is how we monitored professionalism. Then we went on to human touch. How do you objectify human touch? It's very difficult. So what we did is we did a lean project, the pre-op waiting time before cataract surgery. It was reduced to within 120 minutes of arrival. And we achieved 86% compliance in this. Then customer satisfaction, we introduced a project known as economic order quantity in the ordering of patient files, for which again we got a DL Shah award, the Platinum Award this time, EOQ. And I had learned this when I was doing my post-graduation in hospital management. That is how I implemented it in the organization. In fact, in Qualtech also I got a Best Presenter Award for this presentation. Then finally, information. Last year, we implemented visual management systems. I did an online training during COVID because our organization was hit. We didn't have many patients. So we did a lot of courses online and implemented visual management. We converted all our SOPs into visual process mapping. So we don't have to open any books, open the computers, nothing. It's all visible as clinical pathways, visible as maps across the organization. One quick look and you know what are your KPIs, what you need to do, your departmental objectives, goals, everything is visible in our organization. And finally, safety. We got the runner-up for the failure mode effect analysis project in risk management of finance and accounting in Netradharma. So in fact, Suresh Lula himself gave me the runner-up award for it. And this year we have implemented Pokayok, mistake proofing or idiot proofing. So these are the various ways in which we have implemented, keeping the key quality objectives always centered in our organization. And all KPIs are connected to these 6 keywords at Netradharma.
I must confess that I almost thought that I am in a quality class for the last 5 minutes. So thank you for the revision. Wherever we go, we do need some revision. And to the people in audience and those who will listen to this later, this is how you apply what you learn, right? So we all learn many things during our, and Dr. Suman went as far back as her post graduation, and you know, and also mentioned that the last year, which was of course uh, last more than a year, was hit for all medical professions which needed a lot of contacts. So dentistry or eye care, all these were highly hit because there is a certain proximity required with the patient, and nobody was very keen for that. But that time was utilized not
Yes,
only to
yes.
learn but also to implement, apply, and come out whenever we come out of this as a better place. Already very good, already one of the best in India, if not the best. And then bettering the best and using the time that many of us were investing in Netflix or wasting in Netflix and Amazon Prime or other things. I'm talking about myself and some people in the world. So with that, Doctor, what we'll do is that there are quite a few questions which have come in. So let me take, of course, uh, I can't resist Dr. Parag's comment. So, Merry Christmas to you, Dr. Parag, and your entire team. But his question is, I've flashed it on the screen as well. What are the
Yeah.
hurdles in working with senior qualified clinical consultants in terms of change management and implementation of quality standards? Some bit of this you referred earlier, but I think his question is coming from a more healthcare point of view. How do you overcome these challenges? So, anything on this, ma'am?
See, I always tell them one is only as good as their team. We can never work in isolation. So, as a team leader, you have to inspire them and empower them and make them feel that they are leading the quality revolution or kranti, which I call. I always tell Suresh Lula sir that he has spearheaded the kranti in the country. Why can't we do it in our own organization? So what I have done is an inverted pyramid model of leadership. I teach them a concept, a philosophy, and leave them to explore in their own respective domains. Amazing results. Empowering the consultants. Like, for example, I think he may refer to clinical audit. It is one of the toughest areas because clinical audit is mandatory in NABH accreditation program. And most doctors are focused on research to enhance their CV. So now in our organization, it has taken me time, but it's amazing. The ophthalmologists have responded in a fantastic way, and we have a fantastic flow, and especially with our medical superintendent, Dr. Savita Arun. She has created the importance of clinical audit. I have sown the seed in a fertile soil. All I do is just nourish that soil. And they have all bloomed. Every subspecialty, phaco-refractive, retina, cornea, glaucoma, anesthesia, everybody has come out with beautiful clinical audit projects. So like I was telling, we have clinical pathways which are stuck in different areas. If a patient comes with a red eye, we have a lot of students. We have a post-graduation program in ophthalmology. So So we can't keep referring to books every time. Whichever area is providing a service, there's a beautiful clinical pathway for a quick reference guide is available. So this is how we need to inspire them that it is important to follow these standards, because accreditation definitely gives an edge. The annual audit, the interdepartmental audits, it makes us a fantastic team. We work together very well because there's a common vision, there's a common goal for the whole team.
No, I think when you were talking about this, planted the or sown the seed, a term came to my mind, and I would like to share with everybody. There is a Japanese term in change management called nemawashi. So nemawashi, translated in English, means preparing the garden. So you've done much more than just planting the seed, ma'am. You have prepared the garden. So then, of course, we can others can see that beautiful flowers can come out, but somebody is preparing the garden. So that work clearly you have done by everything that you have been explaining. So
I would like to add one point here.
sure.
Every team member in my organization is a qualitist by himself or herself.
That
I'm really proud to say that, sir. I only showcase their achievements.
Which is true sign of humility, and of course, being the role model as well. So, obviously they see you as the role model and then want to follow the same footsteps. So thank you very much for that. Moving on with the questions that we had. One other question apart from the first one that we always ask all our qualities is that what advice do you have for for our younger colleagues who are considering starting a career in quality, right? People who are getting it, not necessarily healthcare, but any quality. And since you are well qualified to be a quality professional in any industry, ma'am, this can be a general question for any qualitist who wants to start a career in quality. What would you advise?
See, in Netradama, how I'm able to translate all this into a reality is quality is everyone's responsibility. We do not have a separate quality department at Netradama. Every employee, every doctor in Netradama is a member of the quality department. This is how I'm able to bring about the importance. Secondly, for a fresher who is getting into this field of quality, say, from the industry, I definitely have learned a lot of quality tools. See, we were already practicing it in spirit, but we didn't know anything about these tools, frankly. So these quality tools based on voice of patient, voice of customer. We used to just collect the feedback, but then directing those questions very specifically, not only external customer, even internal customer, our doctors, our staff, getting any form of customer, so many types of customers, potential customers, now digital customers, social media. There's so many kinds of customers now. So IMC RBNK taught us that we need to categorize all these customers and take all their voices constantly. Then consolidating the areas of concern, areas for improvement, and coming back always to cost of poor quality, always, so that we have tangibles that we can measure. And then there's something very nice which Sir taught us, critical to CTQ. He would always tell us, for any process, what is CTQ? What is the critical to quality parameter? If we do not identify what is valued in the eyes of the customer, we can never deliver quality. So I can never forget him telling me about CTQ. I've learned so much from that. And then finally, getting the dissatisfaction. It's not about patient complaints only. Even dissatisfaction rate is very important to be measured. And then finally, you're having a robust incident reporting system. We are still working on it. In fact, it's a very tough area. Reporting of incidents generally get, once it is solved, there is a near miss or a no harm event, people hesitate to report. So we need to ensure that incident reporting system is strong. And incorporating safety, this is what we have learned from the industry, basically. So, and quality is not just a single act. It must become a habit, as Aristotle said. So basically here, the foundation of quality is built on, see, all of us know an organization has a vision, has a mission. We have a quality policy, objective, core value. But linking this to our business processes is most important. And finally, linking it to our strategic goals and taking the feedback from the return on invested capital. So connecting all of these dots, we call it as the flower power of Netradam. So, linking every output to an input. That SIPOC, which sir taught me, is amazing. We involve SIPOC in everything, even including our strategic planning. So, linking one becomes the beginning and the other becomes the end. So that's a very, very important concept. And all our KPIs are connected to this. And we constantly revise our business plan based on these inputs. And most importantly, all this is fine. All work and no play makes Jack or Jill a dull boy or girl. So I feel we must always develop our hobbies as stress busters. For me, it has been Ashtanga Yoga. It has given me so much in life. I became an instructor. I'm a yoga therapist now. Most importantly, I was able to do my parikrama. Kailash Manasarovar Yatra happened because of yoga. My spiritual growth, and it was a calling. In 2015, I completed my parikrama of KMY. So, Om Namah Shivaya. I'm so happy with the growth that I've had because of introducing quality in all aspects of my life.
Totally spellbounded, one. But let me. I think Mr. Lula had a question, so let me bring him in. Sir,
Suman, are quality goals a part of job design?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And performance appraisal?
Yes, because the key performance indicators are all connected to the quality goals. So it
And
becomes a part of appraisal.
And promotion policy?
Definitely, sir. We have a rewards and recognition program, which is based. It's an annual program that we have. And we have interlinked the whole quality program to the rewards and recognition program. Every CQI project is appreciated during this annual meet. In fact, it's amazing, sir. Even though I introduced these projects in our Jainagar head office, our branches in Indranagar, Rajajinagar, Mysore, they respond hugely to this project. It's amazing how, and I do online training for them. I don't even go and do hands-on training. Whereas in Jainagar, I do hands-on training. So the response is fantastic, even the branches. It's amazing how the staff, how the doctors respond to an initiative. Whereas they have a very tough 24-hour duty round the clock with the patient. In spite of that, they take time out. I was amazed at the Pokaya project this year. 1 hour training. Each one has discovered how they can error-proof their own areas. Sir, I'm a student of theirs, frankly.
A little aside, in the past, you used to broadcast all the online training as it was being conducted. Is this program also being broadcast within your hospital at the
Sir,
moment?
the link has been sent to every employee. In fact, my eldest daughter has joined our practice this year. She has become an ophthalmic consultant with us. She has taken up social media as a major initiative, which was little lacking in the past. And in fact, she has broadcast this link through all social media, sir. I'm not that tech savvy, but in fact, all my 3 children are.
Thank
I
you. Thank
I
you.
can confirm that because I don't promote the show so much on Instagram, but I saw that a lot of promotion was being done on Instagram for this show, and I now know who was doing it. So thank you, thank you for that. I was a little intrigued that Dr. Suman doesn't seem to be LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook type. but definitely Instagram. Okay, so now I know. So
I should thank my daughter, Dr. Supriya.
definitely, we will thank her for that. And since you mentioned Jayanagar, Jayanagar is very close to where I stay. So I hope I will never have the reason to visit your hospital, but in case I do, we will be there.
So we'll be honored. Please visit us. You don't have to visit only as a patient. You can come as our friend.
Sure, I
and,
will.
and as a quality guru in the field itself. So
So with sir in the call, we don't go there. There have been some questions in the stream and a couple of comments around recording. So Ramesh, Captain Bhavar, and a couple of other people who've asked. Yes, the recordings will be available, like I announced in the beginning of the show. But happy to announce it again on all three platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The recording will be available. So if you have missed, you can always check it. Later, right? So Raj Kumar Bansal has a question. He's a regular participant in all our sessions, Dr. Suman, and he works with Infosys and has a question around: have you attempted a lean project on patient discharge process? And of course, he doesn't mean your hospital, but in general, the patient discharge hospital with most hospitals, I or otherwise, is painful. So, any project or any initiative on that front?
see, ours is a daycare center, an ambulatory care center. See, ophthalmology generally is just a walk-in, a walk-out procedure because our cataract surgeries are done within 5 minutes. So we have extremely skilled surgeons and the best in technology, which I can vouch for in India. So our discharge is literally a walkout procedure because all our cataracts are done under topical anesthesia. They don't even need to stay back for wearing out of anesthesia or anything. So we didn't have a requirement to attempt a lean project and discharge. Before you know, they are out. So only for general anesthesia, they are kept till the end of the day. Even at the end of the day, we use very short acting drugs in anesthesia. So we don't keep any patients overnight in the hospital. So it has never been a painful process. So we have worked on the pre-op waiting time, and that we have done a lean project. So we have brought that under control. So they don't come more than 1 hour before surgery. So they're giving dilatant drops at home. They just come in, they pop in a sedative, parameters are monitored. The minimum waiting time for surgery. So post-op, no problem because we do a lot of insurance, cashless patients. We cater to the complete gamut of cashless surgeries, including emergency. So you can just walk in, just give your insurance details, and we do cashless service. In fact, I jokingly say, we have a business class in the front desk for cashless patients, and no other hospital has that.
No, I'm sure you mean it, not so jokingly, but so I think thanks Raj for asking this question because this prompted a response which was very important in terms of what is important for this hospital. The post-operative, or rather the walkout process, is not that important, but the pre-op process is more important.
Yes.
And this is what methods like Hoshin Kanri and others methods suggest, that what is important for you, right? You improve what is important for the customer, and Mr. Lula has always taught us that you figure out what is important for the customer and improve that, not what is important to us. Right? Important to us may be something else, but in this case, what is important to the customer, in your case an eye patient or eye care patient, is that minimum time in the pre-op, because already there is anxiety, there is concern that can be limited. So thanks very much. Others who are still pouring in questions, some of them I've been able to merge with my questions, but do ask your questions. We have only few minutes left for the live stream to end. One last question, Doctor, and then we will have some closing comments from Mr. Lula as well. Is of course, it's quite clear that all this knowledge that you have about quality practices, principles, and everything cannot come without some reading, right? So, any reading that you will advise for our listeners, any book or any online resource, anything that you feel is important.
This is what started my journey. Even before the NDP project started, during the annual report day, 1 year before I met Sir, I read this book page to page. I introduced this concept to the staff in 2009. In 2010, we were one of the 10 hospitals in India to be selected for the National Demonstration Project, a collaboration between QCI and Quimpro. So it was, I guess, a calling, a bulava which happened. So that was what happened. Of course, I recommend the Quality Fables. I have read all his Quality Fables. In fact, whenever I'm free, I go through all of them. They're always with me. And apart from this, I very grateful to the ex-CEO of NABH, Dr. Harish Nadkarni, who opened his library in office when I happened to be a member of the accreditation committee. He gave me a book on Gemba Kaizen, a common sense approach to a continuous improvement strategy by Masaki Imai. And after which we implemented it and got the National DL Shah Award for implementing 5S Kaizen and the Innovation Eye Tracker for making cashless a seamless affair. So every book has resulted in a huge, tangible benefit to the organization. And these are some of the books which have made a difference to me.
No, I can certainly see that. And Masaki-san's book is of course, his other book also on Kaizen. And having met him twice, he's full of knowledge, even if you meet him for 5 minutes, right? So, but for the audience, I think the two books in the Quality Fables that Dr. Suman shared are actually authored by Mr. Lula himself, which includes there are all these books includes 25 or more stories, or as he likes to call fables, from his experience, merging quality principles, practices, and actual real life stories. So if you haven't heard of it, or if you haven't laid your hands on it, please check out some online stores. And if you can't, yeah, there's a signed copy as well.
In fact, Sir has autographed it for me. So
yeah,
it's
so
very precious for me.
I can't promise everybody who wants to buy a signed copy from Mr. Lula, but you can certainly get one online. And if you have any difficulty in reaching out, please reach out to Kimpro. I've shared earlier the website address. Once again, sharing. And you can also reach out on kimpro.com. Just make sure qimpro.org. One more announcement is that Kimpro, of course, has an online problem-solving toolkit. Anybody attending this live stream, even now or later on, can apply for a huge discount as a mark of thank you from our point of view. Just take a screenshot of this and send it to Kimpro with a request for your discount if you're making a purchase of the problem-solving online toolkit. The price is usually in the range of 9,000 or more Indian rupees. You will get a significant discount on that. With that, we are almost like in the last 2-3 minutes, and in true quality, I would say tradition, I would like to end on time, but I'll bring Mr. Lula in for some closing comments and then close the show.
Thank you, Anshuman. Thank you, Suman, for a very interesting chat. I learned a lot. I learned from education without action is easily forgotten. Education with action is remembered. And obviously, you've actioned a lot, and that's why you remember everything that you learned. So, I don't have much more to say, Anshuman, but she is a benchmark for education with action.
I think that summarizes it. Dr. Suman, any comments from you as we close?
Yeah, definitely. Just like I said, Krishna consciousness and quality consciousness should be practiced with an evangelistic zeal. And the empowerment of this qualitist movement, as I call it, is a promise of patient safety and quality assurance in healthcare services. May this tribe increase. And I would like to end with one quote from the Bhagavad Gita, because I enjoy reading the Bhagavad Gita.
Sure.
Uddharet atmanatmanam, natmanam avasadayet, atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu, atmaiva ripuratmanaha. Elevate yourself through your own efforts. Do not degrade yourself, for the mind can be your friend and also the enemy of the self. So the power lies within us. Never give this away to somebody else's hands. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can't top that, and I will love to close the session there. And we are right on time, so we will end the show. Thank you, Mr. Lula, for joining this session today. A complete honor to be in the same session as you, and Dr. Suman, of course, for sharing all your wisdom and packaging it in within this 1 hour is, of course, complex. Uh, Lifeline of learning, and I would strongly recommend that anybody who wants to learn more about this a fantastic eye hospital, specialty eye hospital in Bangalore. Please visit their website. And if you do happen to need their services and are in Bangalore or can visit Bangalore, they are there for you. More importantly, the lesson from today is that you don't need to be in manufacturing, service, and these industries. Quality is everywhere. You can take quality if you care to understand the principles and can take the lesson. Um, you can implement it anywhere, and we are delighted that this episode 6 in the series of the quality show was with Dr. Suman of the Netradham Specialty Eye Hospital. So thank you very much. With that, I'll also take the opportunity, namaste, and I will also take this opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and an upcoming Happy New Year. And may 2022 be nothing like the last 2 years that we've had, but we will see what it brings. And have a safe one. The pandemic is not over yet. I keep reminding my audience all the time, is not over yet. Don't take undue risks, and your health and your family's health is more important than anything else. So take care. And quick reminder: last Saturday of January will be another quality show. Details will be shared later. So thank you very much, and goodbye from us. Bye bye.
Yeah, healthy 2022 to all. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.